what you just saw was Victor here priming up an oil pump on the Thunderbird engine. And what that means is we pulled out the distributor and we took his tool, which was just basically a 1/4-inch drive extension with a 1/4-inch end on it, slid it over the shaft on the oil pump, and spun it with his electric drill until we got a reading on here, which was representing the amount of oil pressure that we were able to secure while we were spinning it with the drill. Now, why do we do that? Well, because when engines set, all the oil drains out, the lifters lose their power, their pressure, and we don't want to start a motor that's dry, meaning it hasn't had lubrication before we try to start it. So we run it for about 15 minutes here with that drill to make sure that oil, especially the camshaft, has lots of lubrication. Now remember, on these older flat tappet motors, you got to put zinc in them. So you always want to get a bottle of zinc to go along with your Driven or Joe Gibbs oil. 1050 and 1550 is what we use. You got to have a quart of zinc. Joe Gibbs is supposed to have zinc in it, but I've never seen any, so I always put a bottle in there extra just to be sure. But that's what we do here. We prime them up for about 15 minutes. I even have one for a Coyote motor as an example where you can't prime it up with a drill, where we can prime it up with oil pressure. We repeatedly run that oil through there under pressure until we're sure that we have an engine that's well lubricated before we try to start it. And the last thing is, if that engine's set for a long time, you want to pull the spark plugs out 2 or 3 days ahead of time and squirt some oil down there, or Marvel Mystery Oil, let it set, turn the motor by hand with a wrench, pour some more down there, turn the motor by hand until you're sure you've got everything lubricated. You'll save yourself a lot of money and time if you do it the right way. I'm Barry Wilson with Wilson Auto Repair. WilsonAuto.com is where you can find us, but you can also go to this YouTube and subscribe.